Hi, hello, welcome. My name's Randy and I love everything crochet. And if you love everything crochet, you should definitely subscribe to my channel and go down below and follow my Instagram. Today we have a project that I think will be pretty great if you want to try and use fluffy yarn for the first time. It's pretty basic and follows like some pretty basic techniques. In that way, if you're like, I want to use fluffy yarn for the first time, it's also small. It's pretty basic with like all of the stuff. So it's not going to be too overwhelming. Or if you're a beginner crocheter, I think this would be a relatively decent project. I think as long as you understand like rounds and rows and starting chain and stuff like that, I think this will be pretty good. Especially if you want to work on sewing and maybe even embroidery. It is a Sleeping Kirby tutorial. I've been wanting to make a Kirby for a while, but as you can see, I have a lot of large plushies that I have made. So I was like waiting till I was like thinking of a good smaller one. I love Kirby. Kirby was like one of my favorite games growing up. So it was just a matter of time before he came to be created inside my home. But yes, I think other than like the face that you have to do subtle embroidery on, which is optional, you could do him awake with safety eyes if you feel more comfortable with that. I think this is definitely a relatively easy project. So let's go ahead and get started. And it's also quick, which I love. All right, to start our small Sleeping Kirby, I'm going to use this Premier Little Bunny yarn. This is in the color Cotton Candy. And I am using a 5mm hook and I'm using a stitch marker. To start, I'm going to do a magic ring, or I personally am going to do a starting chain of 4. And then I'm going to connect the first and the last, pull them together. Then I am going to do 6 stitches into the center here. And all the stitches I'll be using for this will be single crochet. So we're going to do 1, mark our first stitch here. Then we do 2, 3, 4. Make sure our stitches aren't too tight either. It'll make it easier to put stitches back into it. 5 and 6. Now we are going to put 2 stitches in every stitch. So I'm going to go into my first stitch here. I'm going to put 1 single crochet stitch. Then I'm going to go back into that same loop and put a second one. And then we're going to put 2 stitches into the next. So 1, 2. So we are increasing our stitches, and right now we are doubling them up. So we should end up with 12 single crochet stitches all together. And this is typically what I call round 1. I normally have I don't normally count the last round because I view it as like a starting chain basically. And then we are going to do for our second round, we will continue to increase. I'm going to mark my spot by putting 2 stitches into the first, then a single crochet stitch, then 2 stitches into the next, then a single, and we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. And I will be putting 2 stitches into 1 as my verbiage for doubling up the stitches throughout this video. For the next round, we're going to put 2 stitches into the first, then 1, 2 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 1, 2, repeating all the way around. The next round, 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, and 1, 2, 3 single, repeating all the way around. Next round, 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 4, repeating all the way around. Next round, 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, and 5, repeating all the way around. And the next round, 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 2 stitches in the next, then 6, repeating all the way around. Next round, we're gonna do a single stitch in every stitch, so we are done expanding. We basically want to make the body part now, the body of Kirby. So we are going to do a single stitch in every stitch, and I will let you know how many rounds I do in the next. I did 4 rounds of single crochet stitches to kind of get this shape of the body, and now we will start reducing. Now we are going to start reducing because we want the body to come together here. I'm going to do this a little bit and then we'll add the face once I kind of feel out the placement here. It's going to be a little hard to see, but we're going to reduce. So we're going to pull a loop through our first stitch, pull a loop through our second stitch, and create 1 single stitch. I will use the term reduce 2 stitches into 1 throughout this video to represent that. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7. I am a little odd because I like to do 1 extra stitch than I stopped on in my expanding because I feel like it comes together a little better. Maybe that's just me, but that's just my personal preference of that. And then we'll do reduce 2 stitches, whoops. Reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 7 more single crochet stitches, repeating all the way around. Reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 6, repeating all the way around. Reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 5 single, repeating all the way around. Reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 4 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 4 single, repeating all the way around. Next we're going to add the face. I am using this thin acrylic yarn. I think this is the one from the Dollar Tree. I could be incorrect. I just have this now, so I don't remember where it's from, but it is a thinner acrylic. I'm also using a yarn needle. And I'm gonna try and like envision where I want his face to be. It can be a little bit difficult, and when you're doing like a ball / like sphere shape, especially since the bottom will be flatter. So I keep not quite doing it high enough on his face here. But when Kirby is sleeping, he kind of has long slits for eyes. So we do just want to give him a long simple slit here, and we're gonna replicate it on the other side, not too far apart, by weaving our yarn needle. Try and make it even. There we go. I actually think that's quite nice. I'm sorry if you could not see that. I am very terrible about trying to show close-ups and being too far away. And then for the mouth, he's always kind of like snoozing pretty hard. So we're gonna do a like more, that's a little too tall. And of course I wove through the yarn. No, don't pull too tight here. Wait, oh no. Hold on. I just realized that I did not film me doing his mouth. I basically just went back and forth into the same section there. I will say for me personally, I think his mouth is a little big. It's a little beak-like. This would honestly be a really cute little owl. But I think if you definitely do it a little smaller than this, once I add the arms, you'll be able to tell it's Kirby. But I'm very sorry. I thought I pushed record and I did not. But you just take your yarn needle, weave back and forth through the same ones till you kind of have your desired thickness here. And there is his like little yawn / snore. I realized I accidentally did my eyes crooked. But we're gonna leave it because he can kind of be like sleeping on his side here. And now for the mouth, I'm literally just going to do a small, like in between one single stitch, loop back and forth in the same stitch for a couple of times to kind of give it a little bit more depth to it, just like so. So it's not just a single line. So it kind of looks like he's yawning or snoring, I guess. That is how it looks on a lot of like the pictures of Kirby. But for some reason, it just looks a little owl-like. And to me, I'm hoping once we add his arms and legs that he'll be a little more put together. But I'm going to tie off all the ends here on the inside so we don't end up losing our face. After stuffing, I also decided I'm going to add a little bit of like blushing to his cheeks. I feel like a lot of times you see Kirby with like blushing on his cheeks. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the mouth, and I'm just going to go back and forth through the same section a couple of times. Once I get that pulled through, I did 3 times for each. Actually, I did 3 times for this one, and just to keep it like inside, I'm going to do a 4th time on this side. And then we have like a little bit of blushing on his cheeks. I know his mouth's up here, but that's okay. Reduce 2 stitches in a 1, then 1, 2, 3 single stitches. Reduce 2 stitches in a 1, then 1, 2, 3. I already stuffed it to make it easier on myself because sometimes when you make the opening too small, it's too difficult. Reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2 single stitches. Reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, repeating all the way around. For the main part of Kirby, reduce 2 stitches into 1, then a single stitch. Reduce 2 stitches into 1, then a single, repeating all the way around. To seal up our Kirby, I'm just going to go back and forth through the top all the way around of the opening here. And once you go all the way around the opening and pull it tight, you should be clear of any holes, and then you can weave through if you have any gaps in your yarn like this to cover those up and then tie off your end. Once you seal him off and tie in your loose string, we just have to add his hands and feet, so we will work on that next. We are now going to do the little hands/arms. I already did one so we can know what or how I want to do it. And all I did was a starting chain of 4, 1, 2, let me not lose my spot, 3, and then 4. I know it's hard to see because it's fluffy yarn, but we're gonna do a skip the first stitch, go into the second. So we'll do 1, 2, then 3 stitches in our first row, and then in the second row we'll do 1 and 2, and then we'll turn around and we'll just do 1, and then we're gonna cut the yarn. I cut the yarn, I'm going to tie it off, and I'm going to take my yarn needle, which with this yarn, it's a lot easier to use the tip here and weave it in like so. And then we're going to weave back and forth, kind of folding it like if you were in school calling it a hot dog style, to make like a little almost like rounded off triangle arm, hand. I think it's a little more pointy than typically Kirby has, but it's an easy hand here. And then that's it. We just have to attach it.
once I tie it off nicely here, I lost a spot. There we go. So to attach it, we are once again going to use our yarn needle. Since I have him stuffed now, I want it to kind of lay flat when he lays flat. So I kind of did it just below his little rosy cheeks, off to the side a smidge. And we are going to take one of our tails and attach it. Similarly to how I attached it on the other side, and I'm just going to weave the tops of this side through a single stitch on the body. I lost my yarn here, but that's basically what you want to do, is weave through the tops, weave through a single stitch, and then make sure you pull it nice and tight, keep it attached, then weave through a stitch, weave through the tops, and then it's attached. And you want to do it with both, and then we'll tie it off, weave it together, and we have his little arms once you do that twice. And next we just need his little feet. The last part of Kirby we need to do are the feet. I've already done one, and now I'm going to do the other one. This is the same pink I used on his cheeks. This is also the Premier Little Bunny yarns. I believe this color though is hibiscus. This is probably my favorite pink they have. It's like very Barbie pink. So we're going to do a starting chain just like we did with the hands. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe was how, yep, I did 6. I did the rest of this yesterday and I didn't get to finish it. So I'm making sure I remember. But we're gonna skip our first stitch, go into the second stitch, and we're just gonna do some single crochet here, and we're gonna do 5 single crochet stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. I will say, I might have already said it, but flat lay crochet with fluffy yarn is definitely a lot harder than doing rounds. And we are going to do 6 rows total, so this is our second row of 5. And each row will just have 5, so you're going to do a single stitch in every stitch for every row. And why I like to do even numbers for stuff like this is because then you'll have your one tail on this side, your other tail on this side. So when we fold it in half to stitch it, both tails end up on the same side. So we have our 6 rows of 5 single crochet stitches, and we are going to fold this direction. So we have the top and bottom, and that way we have like a stiff piece. It's not going to be like too like floppy where it like will curl under and misshapen. And so what I'm going to do so I can seal up the feet is I'm going to weave back and forth through the top. So basically when we fold it, we want it to fold hot dog style this way. So we're going to crochet across the side basically here to make a flat solid top here. We don't want any openings. You also don't need to stuff his feet either. I still have black yarn hiding on my blanket from my last project I made. And then we're just going to weave back and forth across both pieces to seal up the side here. And once that's done, I just like to tie it off. And I already placed one, but I know this is the first one I'm showing, so I'm kind of placing them. They kind of get like a little bit of a natural curve on the side because of how we stitched it, especially if you stitch it a little tight. So I like to have the curve facing out, kind of give him a natural look to his feet. Similarly to the arms, I'm just going to pick a stitch here, try and get the same stitch as before. We're going to go through one stitch and then weave through both ends here, like so, and then try not to pull our yarn off the hook or off the needle. Then we're going to go through that same stitch on the body, just weave it all the way across, and then we're going to do the same with this one, and then we're going to tie it off. We're going to put our yarn, like we're going to weave in our ends, and then you're done. Then once you are done, you have a Kirby. He is sleeping. There's a ton of ways to customize this. You could give him a little hat. You could add like a little bubble like he's snoring, and yes, he's very cute. He has little black fuzzies. Like I said, I tried to clean those up from my last project, but there he is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!